Welcome back to a new post today. And today's news, the important issue for the day I thought I should discuss with you is about the muscling power of China in the South China Sea. Now, already our Defense Minister Rajnath Singh is at the Naval Commanders Conference in Goa. And he also inaugurated the new building of the Naval Officers building at Goa as Chola. So we already know that Chola is a dynasty which had the first naval power in India. They controlled the whole of the Bay of Bengal, including Sri Lanka and even certain East Asian countries as well. So today's news with regard to muscling power of China, while during the Naval's conference, even the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh had spoken about increasing prowess and capability of Indian Navy to showcase its power and might in the Indian Ocean. And they carried out a twin carrier exercise today with INS Vikrant and Vikramaditya as well. And on the same lines, we see China now having its Coast Guard ship colliding with the Philippines, and it already has issues with regard to claiming of the Thomas Shoal in the South China Sea. And not only with Philippines but also China claims many of the areas on the exclusive economic zone of Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, and also Cambodia as well as Malaysia as well. So many of these countries are having disputes with China in the South China Sea. And with Philippines, it's about not only the Thomas Shoal but also the Scarborough Shoal as well. And so the tensions run high as there is a collision of ships between the Philippines and China in the China Sea. This China Sea has a very strategic location, let me tell you, and it is bordered by China, Taiwan, which is claimed again by China under the One China policy in the north, and Indo-Chinese Peninsula, Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Brunei, Philippines to the east, and it is connected to the Taiwan Strait via the East China Sea and also by the Luzon Strait with Philippines on the exclusive economic zone. It has a very important aspect with regard to trade as well, because almost $3.37 trillion worth trade passed through the South China Sea. And if China controls this area, it also controls the trade in this region, but also the energy supplies that are located on the continental shelf of this area as well. 80% of the global trade by volume and 70% is transported in sea, and 60% of it in Asia passes through the South China Sea. China's, which is the world's second largest economy, heavily relies on South China Sea, with an estimated 64% of its trade now coming through this region, and also only 14% of US trade traverses. But even though it's only 14% for United States has its presence in South China Sea, claiming it has freedom of navigation under the United Nations Convention of Law and Sea, and it protects the trade paths in this region. India relies in the region for almost 55% of this trade, and therefore anything that happens in this region of South China Sea is going to not only affect the trade but also the geopolitics of this region. Already ties with regard to this muscling power of China in the region is already strained with the East Asia countries, which I just spelled out: Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Cambodia, etc., and also with Australia and Japan also now. Today itself, the 50th meeting between ASEAN and Australia is being held, where Australia is now planning a lot of investment in the Southeast Asia region, moving away from its traditional trade partner China, and this is also being done by Japan as well. So what exactly are the major disputes in South China Sea? Now, the heart of the South China Sea revolves around territorial claims to land features like islands and reefs, and mostly situated on the continental shelf, which is very, very rich in petroleum and natural gas reserves and associated territorial waters with regard to fishing as well. Now, the major island and the reef formations in the South China Sea are the Spratly Islands, the Paracel Islands, the Pratas, the Natuna Islands, and the Scarborough Shoal as well. So as many 70 disputed islands and islets are under contention now, with China, Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, Taiwan all claiming all of these disputed features. China claims almost 90% of the sea with its 9-dash line that it has drawn up now, and has physically expanded its islands and construction of artificial islands along with military installations in the region. China has been particularly active in Paracel and Spratly Islands, engaging extensively in dredging and artificial island construction, creating almost 3,200 acres of new land since 2013. And now China also controls the Scarborough Shoal through constant coastal guard presence. So the efforts, have there been any efforts then to deal? And let me tell you, most of these features are located on the exclusive economic zone, which is 200 nautical miles away from the baseline of the shore of Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand, Brunei, etc. And officially under the United Nations Convention of Law of Sea, these territories belong to these countries and not to China, and it is not recognized internationally. But still, China is adamant and continues its activities in this region. There is a code of conduct, that is talks between China and the ASEAN countries aimed at establishing a code of conduct, which is a situation, but this is still not established. The rules of it have not been laid, and it's going very, very slowly. There is a declaration on the conduct of parties which was taken up in 2002 between ASEAN and China. They adopted this declaration on the conduct of parties, affirming their commitment to peaceful resolution of the disputes in recognition of international law. Now, this declaration of conduct was meant to pave the way for a code of conduct to be adhered to by China and all the other countries in the South China Sea. There are arbitrary proceedings going on against China under the United Nations Convention of Law of Sea by Philippines at the International Arbitrary Tribunal, and also in 2016 the Permanent Court of Arbitration ruled against China's 9-dash claim in the South China Sea, stating that it is inconsistent and unlawful under the United Nations Convention of Law of Sea, or what we call as the Law of Sea Treaty. Now, China has rejected the arbitration ruling and has asserted its sovereignty and historical rights in the South China Sea, and it has been adamant in showing its might and also taking up military drills around the region, along with asserting its power through exercises like military by violating the exclusive economic zone of many countries, taking the ships into their exclusive economic zone, calling it a freedom of navigation exercise, which is actually illegal. So these are there have been many I would say recommendations to actually deal with this situation, which is always of constant tension. There is a recommendation for multilateral engagements between China along with the other countries under the United Nations Convention of Law of Treaties, and actually drawing the boundary, and also fair dispute resolution. It says that there is a need for collaborating between these countries in the South China Sea to combat illegal fishing, reduce pollution, preserving the biodiversity, and also maritime peace parks. So this is a new concept which has been recently discussed, exploring the concept of creating maritime peace parks or protecting areas within the South China Sea. Similar to terrestrial national parks, these parks could be designated for peaceful purposes like conservation, research, ecotourism, and also respecting each other's territorial rights in this region. So these are some of the recommendations which have come up with regard to South China Sea, and these are some of the disputes and what exactly have been the discussions or the efforts to resolve the dispute with regard to South China Sea. Tensions are already high in South China Sea between Philippines and China, and it's only wait and watch situation, but this has always been happening very frequently, where the region is always intense, and then we see the involvement of United States and Australia and Japan coming up together. So we just hope that the region remains tension free, because there are already a lot of tensions in the West Asia region with regard to Israel and Palestine, and now coming up already in the Red Sea. And I hope this information would really help you to decide and analyze on the issue, and also map these areas on the map with regard to South China Sea claims with regard to the other countries as well. If you did, please do like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video, and I shall see you in a very new post tomorrow. Until then, it's happy learning.